Hello and welcome back to another video from Bleak Archives. And today, we are diving even deeper into a topic you all seem to love a lot, the Orcs from the Warhammer 40k universe. In today's video, we will explore a side to them that not many are aware of, and that is the spectrum of emotions these creatures possess. We know that orcs are immortalish creatures who live for the thrill of the fight and would put anything on the line just for another kick. So does the fact that they possess emotions even make sense? Let's find out exactly how emotions affect them and whether they are truly similar to humans in certain emotional ways or not. If you like our content, please hit the like and subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you never miss another update from us. And now, let the journey begin.
Chaos cannot stand against us!
Orcs and their twisted emotional chemistry. In the entire Warhammer 40k universe, the galaxy is filled with numerous creatures that are both good and evil, creative and dumb, but very few are as infamous, dangerous, and strangely entertaining as the Orcs. To most people in the universe, the Orcs are nothing more than brutal green-skinned beings that have no system and live in anarchy, who keep on spreading throughout the universe like fleas. The Orcs are prominently loud, wild, violent, and on the surface, seemingly incapable of forming any emotions except for the joy of the battle. But these things are just the surface of the iceberg, because underneath all these loud noises and violence, they actually live in a society with its own system and even its own tradition. Could it be that the Orcs are actually beings who possess the power to express emotions? Maybe it's the society that makes it seem so. The foundations of Orc society. Well, before we clearly get the answer to our question of whether Orcs truly have emotions or not, we must understand what the Orcs even stand for and how they came to be. If you are new here or have missed our last video, everything you need to know about the Orcs or Greenskins in Warhammer 40k, where we talked about how Orcs came to be, here is a small summary for you. Long ago, way before the Orcs earned their reputation as the rowdiest and loudest species in the galaxy, there was a galaxy-level war named the War in Heaven that was going on. And in order to get a fighting chance over their opponents, the Old Ones built the Orcs as soldiers. The Orcs were genetically engineered beings that were made to possess a few important qualities, such as resilience, violence, and rapid reproduction. The Orcs were actually so resilient that they exceeded everyone's expectations of their survival and made it through every single extinction event ever made. With time, the Orcs slowly started to degrade, not in quantity, but in quality. They became more and more chaotic and much less disciplined. But one thing that remained was their love for war, the one thing that kept them going throughout everything. Many researchers and other high-level beings researched the Orcs from far away, learning their behavior and understanding their mechanisms. And the one thing they learnt about the Orcs was the fact that the process of reproduction for the Orcs was much different than any being, except for fungus. The Orcs actually drop out spores all the time, and every single place they go, they drop these spores. And after some time, new Orcs emerge from these spores. This created an ecosystem of Orcs, Gretchen, and Squigs. This method of reproduction was the exact reason why the Orcs never seemingly get wiped out, and this is their ace card in all seriousness. But the problem that arises from this is the fact that, normally, society and societal norms are learned in schools and homes, but for these creatures, society is whatever they come across as soon as they emerge from the ground. The only things Orcs are wired to do is to stick together and go into war, flaming style. Life among the clans. Well, due to not getting too close to the Orcs, almost no one knows one thing about the Orcs that they would know if they were in close proximity to them, and that is that the Orcs actually have a functional society and that they are so advanced that they even have different clans that possess different types of Orcs within them. Each clan has a different motive, a different personality, and a different method of functionality that makes them stand out. The Groffs, for example, are actually the most typical of the Orcs, as they are the meanest and the greenest. We mean the biggest. The Groffs can be considered the true embodiment of the Orcs, as they have a love of taking fights with anyone and everyone, and because of their obsession with strength and size. The Groffs only follow one rule, and that is follow the strongest war boss, crush the enemy, and revel in the fight. The Evil Sons clan is a clan that is obsessed with speed. For these Orcs, life is meaningless without war. But a war that does not have speed is just plain boring. These Orcs travel on roaring war bikes and rickety trucks, and everything they have is colored red, because they believe that red makes things go much faster. And although in the real world that may sound delusional, the Orcs actually have the power to manipulate reality with their thoughts. Although sometimes unknown to them, Orcs can manifest almost anything if enough of them believe in something, and that is exactly why their vehicles actually go super fast, even though they are the most broken pieces of junk you can get your hands on. After all, red ones go faster. If you thought currency was not a part of the Orcs' society, you would be dead wrong, and the Bad Moons clan is the best example of this, because they are the richest clan out of all of them. Although materialistic, for the Orcs, Orc teeth are the greatest currency of them all, and because of their ability to grow out teeth faster than any other Orc, they can practically have an endless flow of currency whenever they need. Due to this, the Bad Moons have the best weapons and flashy outfits of them all the time. Next up are the Death Skulls, and let me tell you, these Orcs are pure scavengers. These Orcs believe that the color blue stands for luck, and that is why they cover themselves and everything in blue. And oh god, because of their manifestation abilities, they just straight up get lucky almost every time. They scavenge and loot and always stumble upon something good. Lucky Orcs. The snakebites are probably the simplest to explain, because they are like the only clan that actually clings to old traditions and rejects almost any new form of technology. The snakebites even reject newer technology and prefer to rely on squigs, beasts, and shamanistic rituals. They too believe themselves to be the true successors to the old Orcs, and that is why they butt heads with the Groffs for the title of successor. And the last, but definitely not the least, are the Blood Axes clan. The Blood Axes are often depicted to be much different than other Orcs, often even called un-Orcy because of their approach towards battles and arguments. These Orcs use strategy, camouflage, and even trade with others using skills. And the thing that makes them hated by most Orcs is the fact that they are not ashamed to back off when they feel like they are about to be pinched. Unlike other Orcs who would rather die than back off, the Blood Axes would rather back off, coup, and then retaliate when the right moment presented itself. This is why they are one of the most feared Orcs among all the clans. The one thing that all these unique types of Orcs and their clans have in common is the fact that no matter what, they always prefer grouping up and not going Lone Ranger whenever they want to, just like humans. Plus, the fact that warlords actually have the power to make the biggest groups and present the biggest war field just makes the idea of grouping up seem much better. Social bonds and compassion in Orcs. This is the one question that has intrigued fans the most. Are Orcs compassionate? Are they emotional? Can they sing their children lullabies? Well, lullabies maybe not, but under all the tough guy attitude and lust for war, there are sides to Orcs that would agree with the rest of the points. Warbands often function as surrogate families. Most Orcs do not care at all about their comrades like humans do, for sure, but they still rely on their war buddies for numerous things, such as charging into battle together and creating the war roar before facing their enemies. Even though they fight each other and bully each other, they still have a sense of brotherhood where each of them is powered by the other. Even their relationship with lesser beings like Gretchen and Squigs is more complex than it appears. While most Gretchen are more than often bullied, used, and made fun of, they are also a major part of the Orc ecosystem. The reason Orcs can never really give up Gretchens is the fact that the Gretchens actually fulfill numerous major roles in their army, and those range anywhere from loading up weapons to carrying gear to even manning the artillery when needed. Squigs, on the other hand, are treated far more worse, because orcs are not the only things that bully them. Gretchens also partake in this action. Squigs are bred like cattle and are used and exploited in so many ways. Some are used as attack dogs, some are basically living tools, but if they run out of luck, some even end up as food for the orcs. In a small way, you could say that the Gretchens and the Squigs both were more like domesticated animals to the orcs, like dogs are to humans, just in a much more brutal and selfish way. Throughout the lore, there are many stories that hint towards orcs being very protective of each other. Knobs often keep their mobs together, not only through fear, but by ensuring their boys get the best scraps of loot and a fair share of the fight. A war boss also shows his true strength only when he has all his lads in his army, ready to follow him to death if needed. Hence, the orcs may truly have a bond of leadership too, and while it may not be gentle in the slightest way, they are definitely the echoes of human instinct to protect their own tribe, the orcish drive for preservation. In every appearance, orcs have been shown to be extremely reckless, to the point that even if guns and cannons are pointed at them, they would still straight up charge their enemies with almost no fear. But this does not mean that they have a lack of survival instincts. The real reason they can afford to do this is because of three very important reasons. One, they can heal super fast, so most shots would barely even hurt them. Two, orcs reproduce through spores on the ground, so they know that even if they die, others will replace them in time. And three, orcs measure survival not by the individual, but by the species. As long as even one orc is alive, the species will have a good chance at survival, no matter what. That is why, unlike humans who are scared for their lives and are sure that if they die, their lineage might not pass on, the same cannot be said about the orcs. Because of their ability to reproduce through spores, it makes death less final and less terrifying for orcs than it is for humans. Fighting is the drive the orcs live for, and death is just a part of a cycle every orc follows one day or another. But it does not mean that the orcs never take caution either. The Blood Axes clan is the prime example of this because, although they are aware of their genes getting passed down and emerging, they still make sure to understand the importance of army preservation. That is exactly why the Blood Axes seem to have higher numbers, and their war boss is one of the strongest in the universe. Are orcs capable of deeper emotion? We have seen numerous emotions from the orcs already, such as anger, of course, fear, self-preservation, and even greed. But one emotion that is very overlooked in the case of orcs is joy. To the orcs, fighting is not just a means for survival, it is fun. Even when the battle gets tough, and they are almost sure to die, most orcs charge on while laughing because the thrill of the fight is everything for these beings. But are joy and happiness the same thing though? Sure, in a sense, maybe you could say that joy is the same as being happy for the orcs. The orcs do not have any external issues to worry about. They do not have to worry about lifestyle. Hell, they do not even have a thing called existential crisis in their dictionary. The only thing they want and like is war and fighting. That is it. All of this does pull up one very important question, and that is, are orcs, in some ways, freer than humans? We humans have to worry about so many things. We have to worry about our lives, our careers, our futures, even life and death. We even have to go through a spectrum of emotions each and every time we make a small decision, such as love and hate, compassion and cruelty, desire and fear. Orcs, on the other hand, have none of these. All they have to do is stick together, make each other strong, and charge into battle like there is no tomorrow. Their emotions are simply pure and unconflicted. Of course, do not get us wrong, because when we say that orcs are compassionate, we do not mean in a human way. Oh, hell no. Compassionate in this term means sharing a purpose and needing others to fulfill that purpose. None of the orcs cry when they lose a comrade, nor do they feel guilty while committing acts that can only be shown in gory horror movies. What they do is avenge their comrades and make sure that they keep on going forward. That is why it is said that an orc's version of empathy is not tenderness, but unity in violence, the mirror to humanity. Upon closer inspection, we came to notice that orcs actually mirror human behavior and emotions in their own ways, which are both unsettling and oddly endearing. Just like humans, the orcs too form their own tribes. They follow strong leaders to ensure victory. They even care for each other, even if it is in a brutal way. They, like humans, also display emotions such as joy, loyalty, and even fairness, but almost all of it is done while they are in a situation that is clearly done in the lens of constant warfare. What makes the orcs so scary is the fact that they are not different from us, but the fact that they are, in a sense, too similar to us. They reflect our darkest emotions in a way society would not let us, while being more aggressive and terrifying. If the world did not have order, no one knows if we too would end up just like the orcs or not. Bleak Archive's verdict. In the end, the only question that remains is, are orcs compassionate and self-preserving like humans? And the answer to this question is both yes and no. The orcs are clearly compassionate, just not in the way we humans are. The orcs do not cradle their young ones. They do not mourn their fallen comrades either. But even after all that, the orcs still are capable of forming bonds. They are capable of protecting their warbands and preserving the collective strength of their species, because they know that their strength lies in their numbers. Perhaps that is the great irony of the orcs. In the Warhammer 40k universe, where humans can do nothing but agonize and rethink their decisions about morality and meaning, the orcs are nothing but content with every decision they have ever made. The orcs live without the fear of going extinct. They are without doubt of purpose, and none of them even shows despair. And in that strange green-skinned simplicity, they might just be more at peace than we are. If you enjoyed our video, please like the video and comment down below what we should cover next.